I'm Roman Vladimirski. Ryan Weir is half the man he used to be, thankfully.
Back with another episode of the TVT News Podcast. We have a very awesome guest today. Our guy, co-founder of Why Not You Media, Francis, the man, Volpe.
What's going
Fran,
on, guys?
Thanks for being here.
Welcome, buddy.
I appreciate it. I'm very happy to be here. Very happy to be on the podcast. I was very excited when you asked me.
So how does it feel? So you sit on this very set.
Yes.
You run your own podcast
Yes.
with Tony, Why Not You Media podcast. But now you're on the couch.
It's definitely a little different. It's a little nerve-wracking, to be honest.
Yeah?
You know, because it's just like questions are coming at me now, and I'm used to asking the questions. That's also like my little comfy seat there. You know, I feel.
I'm
safe
keeping it
there.
warm for you.
I feel safe there.
You're in my house now. All right, man. So, you know, obviously we know where you are today, but tell us, how'd you get to this point? How'd you get to being co-founder of Why Not You Media? Very successful marketing company. You're working with a lot of big names in multiple industries. How did Fran Volpe get here?
Well, I'll take you from the beginning. So, you know, growing up, sports were life. I played 5 sports at a time at one point. My mom and I were traveling all over the country, especially for hockey. So my dream, quite honestly, was to play a professional sport. You know, that's what I wanted to do. Football was my first love. Unfortunately, you know, didn't grow to 6 foot, you know, grew to a nice solid 5'7", and I say 5'8" on a good day. But, you know, I loved football, played it my whole life, went to Fordham Prep, made that decision in 8th grade that I wanted to go to Fordham Prep in the Bronx. That's where I met Tony, actually. Tried getting him to play football. Didn't want to play football, but that's another story. And then I ended up, you know, thankfully, one of my dreams was always to play college football. And I got a scholarship to Assumption College in Worcester, Massachusetts. Shout out Greyhounds. They're now Assumption University. Ended up, you know, dealt with some injuries while in college, separated AC joint, broke my thumb, concussion, all that great stuff. Won a championship senior year, which was really cool. First championship in school history, went to the national playoffs, got to travel down to Pennsylvania. Like it was an amazing experience. Loved my teammates, had amazing coaches. My coach now is at Holy Cross, and he's just dominating. Don't be surprised if you see that guy in the NFL at one point. But awesome. While in college, my major was psychology freshman year. And it's kind of funny because psychology and marketing go hand in hand.
100%.
I was the only guy in my class. It was really dominantly women. And I realized also, I don't know if it was like a professor thing, but I just wasn't enjoying it. I ended up switching to business, major in business management with a minor in marketing. My whole life, though, obviously was a sport. I was into sports, but at one point I was contemplating, what did I want to do? And I always knew I wanted to do something bigger and better. You know, I remember being 15 years old, driving with my mom to our house in Mamaroneck, and I said to her, I was like, I can't walk around average. I can't do it. I have to do something different. I don't know if I can have a boss. So I contemplate with things. At one point, it was, you know, maybe I'll go coach football. You know, I loved football, so I was like, I'll become a coach. Then it was, you know what, I want to work on Wall Street. You know, then it was, I want to do, you know, real estate because $1 million listings, right? We've had that conversation.
Sure.
And, you know, I was just so
Welcome
all
to the
over
club.
Yeah, I was all over the place. And then I got closer to, you know, graduation, and I got into insurance right out of college. And
Sales?
Sales,
Okay.
yeah. And I realized immediately it was not for me. I was just like, this shit sucks. I don't want to do this. I then ended up breaking my leg really bad. I got surgery on my left leg. I have a plate and 9 screws in my left fibula, and that kept me in bed for a while. So I had a lot of time to myself, and I watched tons of videos. That's actually how I discovered Gary Vee. And during that time, I was like, you know what? Let me get into the mortgage industry. My cousin was very successful. Let me learn from him. So during that time, I was, you know, studying for my loan officer test, and that's when really, during those moments of figuring out what I want to do with my life, I said, okay, business is definitely going to be the route. You know, business is something I can see myself doing this. So I passed my loan officer test, able to start walking again, run into Tony and at the bar, ironically. And I'll never, oh my God, he's going to kill me for saying this. I'll never forget what he was wearing. It was the the Thanksgiving Eve, the biggest night of the year to go out.
And were you in White Plains?
I was in White Plains.
Of course you were. Where else would you be?
Yeah. I had, you know, actually, hold on. I always mess up the story. I actually saw Tony before breaking my leg, but just kind of backtrack. But I'll never forget seeing him. He was in a full-blown fucking suit. Okay.
Like suit tie?
Like suit tie.
He owns those?
Yes. And
wow.
He looked like, oh man, he looked like literally straight out of Sopranos. And I went up to him. I was like, yo, what have you been up to? And he goes, because I saw him on Instagram. And at the time, he had like 10,000 followers. Big deal. Still is a big deal. And he's like, let's get a cigar, you know. So we met up, told me what was going on and about the whole, you know, building these Instagram pages. And then I ended up breaking my leg. So I was helping him do that while I was, you know, stuck in bed. But fast forward, become a loan officer, doing that. Tony's in construction. Michael, you know, our other business partner, was also in construction. My mom then introduced me to a family friend named Chaz Menendez, and I owe a lot to this guy. Taught me a lot. And he was in the stunt industry for movies and television. And I said to myself, you know, I don't know if I want to do this. My mom was like, just try it. Went to one class. The guy, Chaz, pulls my mom aside and goes, your son needs to keep doing this. He has a future in it.
This is after you had the whole knee
surgery?
surgery?
This was after the surgery. This was after surgery. Yeah, kind of crazy when the stunts. And
Good catch.
Yeah. And I fell in love with it, man. I really did. I was just like, damn, like, this is a lot of fun. I never realized how much I enjoyed being on camera and being behind the camera and just learning about this industry as a whole and being able to put together fight choreography and work on small films, getting my SAG card, working on shows like Power, the Wu-Tang Clan saga, some movies, and just meeting the people in the industry. I was like, you know what? Like, maybe I am more creative than I thought, you know? And that was perfect and in sync with what we started doing with Why Not You Media. And Tony started these diamond networking events. So I was doing stunts and mortgages at the same time. And, you know, it would be a good amount of people there every Wednesday, right at Doc James Cigar Lounge. And then it ended up just being myself, Tony, and Michael. And we closed the doors, started to try to figure out what can we do together. Because I wasn't really enjoying the mortgage stuff, and they wanted to get out of construction.
Yeah.
And we just had all these ideas like, oh, let's do an event company, right? But we don't want people to be able to solicit on stage, because if you buy these tickets, these events, a lot of time these guys go up on stage, give some great value, and then all of a sudden it's like, buy my course for $99 or buy this.
That's the worst.
Yeah, this bullshit. And so we were like, we don't want that. And so we were like, okay, we'll do events. But then the most concerning question is, how are we going to fund these things? Because we have no money. We're I think we were 24 at the time.
Now, when you say, I'm sorry to cut you off, when you say events, like parties, weddings,
no,
things like that,
we
like what kind of,
like
or
mindset,
networking?
like all about mindset,
got
like
it.
bringing high level individuals to come in and speak on mindset, on business, and just to teach people, like actually add value so people can walk out of there and take something that they learn rather than being sold to and be able to execute that on their own. So we were like, all right, how are we going to make money? And Tony was building a brand. I think Tony at this time now had about 25,000 followers on Instagram. And I said to him, I'm like, dude, let's do a media company. Like, you have a brand, you know a lot of people. Why don't we do something with that? He looked at me, I'll never forget. Like, I had 10 heads. He was just like, what? Like, what are you talking about? I was just like, yo. I was like, I got a buddy that works for a social media marketing agency down in Florida. He works remote, lives right here in Westchester. I was like, let me reach out to him, bring him in, and let's talk about this. Brought him in, and he taught us literally everything, like how they structure it, what they do, what they charge, just everything. And so then we were like, all right, cool. We could do this. Like, we can do this. And then we needed a name. And we were sitting there thinking about names, and I just blurted out, "Why not you?" And I was like, my mom always said that to me growing up. You know, why can't you become the next big thing? And they were like, perfect. We dropped the W to H, and it became Why Not You Media. And we LLC'd in November of 2018. And Tony and I made the decision in February of 2019 to go full time. Full time. We said we're gonna do this. We're gonna do it all out.
That's a big decision.
Yeah, it was really scary. Like I remember having the conversation with my mom, and she was like, "Fran, you're young. You have a roof over your head. Do it." And the first month, we were right here in this office, and Michael was still working full time, and Tony would sit. The desk was right here, and I was sitting over there, and we would just send like 200 to 400 DMs a day to different people, different businesses, telling them, hey, we can help grow your Instagram following. We can get your brand out there. And we were selling $150 packages at the time. And I knew, though, that sales back to the insurance thing wasn't really my thing. And, like, Tony was natural at it. That was, like, you know, obviously he's our salesman. He's our, you know, the face of Why Not You Media. But, like, it was something that was just like, wow, we can do this. Like there was a lot of confidence. Like you could feel like there was just a synergy between me, Tony, and Michael that, like, I always say it's like divine intervention, just the way we came together. And from there, you know, my first month, I'll never forget, my first month full time, I made $700, $700, and I was like, damn.
Were you like concerned?
At first I was concerned. I was like, shit.
Like, holy shit, I fucked up.
In a sense, because I was like, damn, like, you know, maybe if I just stuck with the mortgages and stunts, I'd be making already $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 a month already. But then I was just like, you know what? Like, this is my own thing. Like, let's grow this. Let's do something. And we just went full, like, throttle. Like, it was 16-hour days, 7 days a week, and we did 6 figures in 6 months. And it was like, holy crap, like, we can, like, this is serious.
So you bet on yourselves and it paid off.
Yeah, 100%. And we were then able, you know, we start getting reached out. Can you do content? Can you do this? Can you do that? We said yes to everything. And we just figured it out. And
Just fired up.
Yeah, we just figured it out. And we had an itch. Like, I remember days like Tony and I would be here literally 3 o'clock in the morning, whiteboard, coming up with ideas, firing off text messages to Michael while he's fast asleep, and you know, just with all these ideas. And just like, I still have my notebook from a lot of the ideas. It's so crazy how far we've come. And then we were able to, I think within a year, we were able to get Michael to leave Tishman and supplement his pay. And it was just like, that was a big, I remember how big of a deal that was for us, but I know how big of a deal that was for Tony, because it's like, that's like the childhood, you know, best friends. And so like, he was like, damn, like the day we were able to tell Michael, like, we can pay you. And Michael was just like, all right, I'm leaving Tishman. That's it. Like, I'm out of here. And he left. And we just, you know, like you said, Ryan, we went full go, man. Like, Tony got to go on TV. I've been featured in, you know, Entrepreneur, like New York Weekly, Forbes Accredited, like traveled the country. You know, before COVID hit, you know, we had plans for that year. What was that, like 2020, right? We were traveling to 4 or 5 different places just to go do talks. And then obviously everything shut down. But I know that was like long-winded, but that's basically how it started. It was by accident. It was all by accident.
I just want to point out, like, social media has a way of showing, you know, the wins in like a 60-second window.
Yes.
And I just want to point out, like, this shit just didn't fucking happen overnight.
No.
There was a 16-hour days, 3 o'clock in the morning, strategizing, planning, calling, DMing. You know, I'm sure Tony was going and talking to like a million fucking people.
Yeah.
Like, this is like the shit people don't see behind the scenes.
No.
Is crazy.
Yeah, it molded us, honestly. It really, and you guys live it too, you know.
Yeah.
You just, like, it's an everyday thing. The job is 24 hours a day. You eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff. And just to see, like, the brand growing right in front of our eyes, oh my God, it's like, it's really crazy. And like, from the, like, I always like to use events as like that to kind of measure it. And, you know, I remember our golf outing, you know, last year, and we were selling tickets up to the day. not the day, like the week before.
Best golf outing ever, by the way.
Appreciate that. And we were selling tickets for like up to the week before, and just recently, sold out in 11 days.
That's
for this
awesome.
year.
That's huge.
11 days, like crazy. And then and people asked like, oh, there are foursomes left. I had someone this morning ask, oh, I'm looking to get a foursome, sold out. Sorry. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah. It goes to show you the power of brand, the power of networking, the power of showing up each and every day. Because the more known you become, and especially when you offer something that helps people and then you care about them, because that takes it to the next level. Like, I was at breakfast the other day with my buddies for what's it called, for my birthday. And my buddy asked, like, how's work going? And I said to him, I go, work's great. I said, but we're not an agency. Like, we're really not. And he goes, what do you mean by that? I go, a lot of these agencies out there, it's a burn and churn, right?
Mhm.
People come in, people go, they take your money, they run your ads, they don't do anything with the creative. Like, it's just kind of like, they're not about the relationship, they're just a transaction. I go, we're all about relationships. Like, we're like an old school mentality business with the new school approach in the regards to digital marketing. That's how I describe us.
And we see that.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen, like, as your clients, like, we've been working with you for 3 years now.
Mhm.
Like, it's infectious.
Yeah.
Like, everything you guys do, you've passed along to us. I can't speak for your other clients,
Yeah.
but, like, you've passed along to us, and we're seeing the residual effects of that
Yeah.
for our brand.
Yeah, you guys see, like, it's a mindset thing too, right? Like, you guys actually take like, we might be younger than you guys, but like, you guys take what we say and actually execute it. And for us as like a business and business owners, that is the biggest compliment in the world. It's not like, yeah, you could text us, oh, we appreciate you, blah, 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 blah. That's great. That feels good. Don't get me wrong. But when we are sitting in these meetings, sitting in these consulting sessions, and then you guys actually go and execute what it is that we're advising, that like that's priceless. Because like, just from your guys' clients giving, place was packed. You guys did it on what, a Wednesday?
Mm-hmm.
On a Wednesday, and you guys had like 200 and something people there. Like, that is crazy if you really break it down. There's not many other real estate teams. And look, not bad-mouthing other ones, but like, they throw events and 30 people show up, 40 people show up. You guys had over 200 people.
And that's good.
And that's good.
If 30 people show
Yeah,
up.
100%.
Like, I know
that's
people with 5 people show up, 6.
good. Yeah.
You know?
But it goes to show you like how important relationships are, and actually executing on the advice that you're given. Like, I never understand though, and this is just in business, like across the board. If you're gonna pay somebody or pay a company to consult you or do something for you, and then you don't do it, or like you combat what it is that they're saying.
Why are
Like-
you paying them?
like imagine going to a trainer, like we were talking about this off camera.
Yeah.
Imagine going to a trainer that's been doing this for years, has a brand, has the credentials, has the testimonials. He tells you or she tells you what it is that you need to do, and you're like, nah, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think that's gonna work. Are you fucking out of your mind? like, but that happens a lot, where it's like people pay someone, but then they don't like what it is that they hear, or you know what I think it comes down to? They just don't want to do the work.
They're just not open-minded and willing to just,
They just don't want to do it.
yeah.
Most people I've learned, and especially being in business, don't want to do shit. They're naturally lazy.
Lazy. I was just going to say that.
Yeah,
Lazy.
naturally lazy.
And complacent. And scared, actually.
Yes.
Because, listen, for me, like, when I first started, and Ryan, like, you too, when we first started going on camera, it was fucking scary.
Oh yeah,
I hated it.
But It's
Still getting used to it.
it's terrifying.
Well, you got your own podcast now. You made it.
But you know what? It's amazing that when we first started with you, like when you came onto the team, you were very nervous, but now you're embracing it. You're embracing it. Yeah, you might be a little uncomfortable, but like long term, what it's gonna do for you is so beneficial, because it's facial recognition. Like, people might not watch your videos in full, but like, I think you guys have talked about this, is that when you go to listing appointments and people already know who you are without even having to have met you yet, you know how much power that is? Like, how powerful that is to show up somewhere and they're like, oh, what's going on, Ryan? And they just, I recognize you from social media. Like, you won.
That's what I was actually, I think, telling Tony a few weeks ago, that it's like you already built the relationship up front without them actually physically seeing you. And then as soon as you go to meet them, they already know who you are.
Oh, yeah. It's so powerful.
So that takes me to my next point. So you have done something a little bit different from Tony.
Yeah.
You have, in my eyes, become kind of the expert on the personal branding side of things. You have several segments within your social media that you've kind of conquered and have grown to become mega in my eyes, right? Snack time, one question.
Yep.
You've done so many others.
Yep.
You know, talk about the importance of that and how that's affected Why Not You as a whole.
So, I'll talk about Snack Time first, right? So,
my favorite.
Yeah, Snack Time. So Snack Time happened once again by accident. I had an old Instagram page. Someone tried hacking it, made a new page.
I remember that.
Yeah, I still have the old page, but I just I started a new one. Let me just go all in on this. So one day at my buddy Nikki's house, and Reels just dropped, I think a week prior.
Okay.
And it was the new thing. And so I was like, damn, I don't want to just do educational content. I want to, do something fun, show my personality a little bit. And so I pick up a bag of chips that he had, and I was just I put the camera to it, and I'm like, you know what time it is? Snack time. And I just went with it, opened up the chips, bit it, had the chip, rated it, posted it, 19,000 views. I was like,
what chip was this?
it was the Migos did a collaboration with a chip company. I forget what chip company it was. They were pretty good chips. It was it was they were pretty good.
You never forget your first chip.
No, you never forget your first chip. And I was like, damn, I got something with this. Let me just keep doing it. Kept doing it, kept trying different things, and then all of a sudden, one video did 50,000, 30,000. It was a constant. Every time I posted a Snack Time, it was anywhere from 10 to 50,000 views. Then obviously more people got onto Reels, and they started becoming a little bit saturated in regards to views and stuff. And then I got away from it because of the fact that it started to feel a little bit like a job, because I was like, damn, I gotta find snacks to review. And
Sounds like a horrible job.
Well, believe it or not, believe it or not, I'm not the biggest snack guy in the world. But then my girlfriend Marlene was like, "Are you ever gonna bring back Snack Time?" And I was just like, "I don't know." But she's like, "If you do, you gotta do places. You gotta go to restaurants and do places. You still call it Snack Time, but you do places." So I was like, "You know what?
Genius.
I'm gonna do it."
Genius.
And it's now turned into this thing where I look forward to it. We've done collaborations on it. I got to get Ryan on it. We got to,
I think I've been on 3 Snack Times.
I think you've been on
I'm
3
proud to
snack
say
times.
3
Yeah,
Snack Times.
We have to definitely do one. We'll collab. Maybe we'll try out a new steakhouse or something like that.
Sounds good to me.
Or celery sticks.
Celery sticks, asparagus, apples. I don't know. I can't eat apples. But
Do
anyway.
the one chip challenge. I'll do it with you this time.
Oh, no, I'm not doing that again. That was brutal. That was horrible. My tongue started to bleed. I'm never doing that again. I thought I was going to have to go to the hospital.
Michael's rolling his eyes off camera right now.
That was bad. But yeah, Snack Time, and now I've done collaborations with Casa della Mozzarella, Joey Bats in the City, Healthy Kitchen, Conti's, Madhouse Barbecue. And the reason why I love it is because, one, it's just I sprung into people and they're like, yo, Snack Time. It's kind of become a nickname. And I'm all about it. I embrace it. It's a lot of fun. It gets me in front of new business owners, gets me to speak to people and build new relationships. So that I will keep going. That I look to, hopefully maybe monetize eventually and get asked to do collaborations, because all it is, basically, in a sense, I'm a foodie, right?
Yeah.
But I do other things, not just food, obviously. And then the one question thing, I was just like, you know what? I know a lot of interesting people. I know a lot of people that know a lot and can give great value. And I said, let me just do it in one question, though. I don't want to turn this into a 3-minute conversation. Right. Let me ask them one question, not tell them the question. And I was like, you know what? Let me see if I can collab with 52 people. And that's really what I've just been doing. I post those on Fridays. I do Snack Times on Saturdays. And it's just shows that I'm around different people, shows another side of my personality. And that's like you said, like with personal branding, that is the most important thing. Is you have to show who you are. People work with who they like, know, and trust. As you guys know,
Yeah.
you know, it's very important. Like I know your story about the woman that you met out in Long Island. Where were you? At Long Island, or you were at a listing,
Pine Bush.
something like wherever, and the woman like knew your story from the
Oh
podcast?
yes, and
Like,
that was
that's
in
a great-
Middletown.
Oh, Middletown.
Yeah, so she listened to. I was at a listing appointment in Middletown. 70-year-old woman.
Yep.
And she listened to the podcast that I was on with you guys.
Yes.
And she heard me tell the whole story about how I used to burn CDs and sell them for money, and how I borrowed my mom's car to
Yeah.
drive people around.
But the fact that
that
she
was
knew
that was why, and she did her research.
yeah. But the fact that she heard that, she knew a little bit more about
That was
you.
crazy.
You know, and I think that's a lost thing right now.
Yeah.
And I really like our clients that are very business oriented. We're pushing them to be like, look, don't hide behind the business brand. Like, get in front of
Yeah.
the camera, show your face. I don't care how successful your business is. I don't care if you make you yourself $500,000, $1 million a year. I don't give a shit. Put your face in front of it. Now people are gonna have a deeper connection to the brand.
But to your point too, like if you think about it logistically,
Mhm.
things like snack time and one question gives you the opportunity to make batch content.
Yeah.
Like that is a lot of pieces of content right
Yes,
there.
it is, and I
You
can
know?
break those down. Like, there's a lot I can do with it because the world that we're in, you guys hear us say this all the time, is that people have to see themselves as a media company that offers a product or service.
Yeah.
Because the world is so loud right now. If you need to be showing up each and every day, over and over and over and over and over again, until eventually someone might see you the 232nd time. And they're like, you know, I got to reach out to Roman and Ryan now. Like, I see these guys all the time. Now I'm ready to buy my house,
Right.
or I'm ready to sell my house, or I need to rent, or whatever it is that they need. So that's why we are such big advocates, because everything we tell people to do, we do ourselves. You know, from my content, Tony's content, stuff we put on the Why Not You Media page, our podcast. Like, we're living, breathing what we tell people to do. And when we see, I'll reiterate, like seeing you guys execute on that, I would take. I wish I can clone you guys into 15 clients. You know, it'd be fucking amazing.
What do you think is the biggest mental hurdle for a business owner to step aside from the business brand and start focusing on themselves?
A lot of it.
It's mindset.
Yeah, it's mindset. Yeah, it's fear. A lot of people have they're so nervous of being judged and ridiculed, not necessarily by people they don't know, but people they do know. Because some people, look, it's tough to walk in somewhere and all your friends bagging on you. But after a while, they keep seeing you. Like the perfect example, you guys had Anthony Scope on, right?
Mhm.
You had Scope, right?
Yep.
So Scope, when he first started, like the firehouse ripped him. Because it, ripped him.
It is a
like,
firehouse.
He did all their loans.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like that, literally, and firehouse after firehouse after firehouse, because they kept seeing him talk about mortgages and seeing his face on social media. People, I don't care if you're 80 years old, 18 years old, people are scrolling. Like, my grandma was 86 years old scrolling through Facebook.
Yep. My grandma tells me she watches all my stuff. Doesn't understand a single word of it, but watches all of it.
Yeah.
Roman.
And if you check, sometimes she'll comment too.
Really?
Oh yeah. She'll use the English, like Russian to English translator,
Oh, my gosh.
and then she'll put some smiley emojis and kissies.
Aw,
That's
hey,
awesome.
That's
Yeah.
support, man.
That's great.
Hey, if she comes across someone that needs your services,
You never know.
You never know.
You
right?
never know, dude. That's crazy, man. So, last question, and we'll
Mhm.
finish off with the closer question.
Yep.
If you can give one piece of advice to a young Fran Volpe, what would it be?
I feel like every time I get asked this, it changes.
It should.
Yeah, it definitely should. So one piece of advice that I would give to myself, I gotta think about this one for a second. Yeah, literally, you need like because there's a lot. It's like there's multiple things I would want to tell myself, but if there's one particular thing, is honestly, stay disciplined and keep yourself accountable. Just like do the work that no one else wants to do, because successful people do the things that unsuccessful people won't do.
Yep.
And keep yourself accountable. Like, if you don't do it, like, you have to look in the mirror and tell yourself, like, you didn't train today. You didn't get this work done. You didn't get this done. Like, that's what I would tell myself, is that if you stay disciplined, keep yourself accountable, good things will happen.
That's awesome, man. And I couldn't agree more.
Completely agree. Absolutely.
Fran, thanks so much for coming on, dude.
Appreciate
Appreciate
buddy.
having you.
Thank
All
you
right.
guys for having me.
That was Fran Volpe, co-founder of Why Not You Media, TVT News Podcast. We'll see you next time.